Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome with me Shri Sudhakar Rao, Director, Branding, ICFAI Group. May I also invite on stage Chahat to have an insightful conversation with him.
Thank you so much, Akansha, for welcoming us here. So the topic of our session is very interesting. It is basically from campus to startup. So this would be a very exciting conversation because the topic says all. From campus to a startup, or the journey of a student to become an entrepreneur. So there are multiple things one has to learn. It's not just the traditional learning anymore. We have smart education, we have skill training. So basically, my first question to you would be, how are the private organizations changing their teaching method? Because it's not just the teaching method that has to be changed, it is also the mindset that has to be shaped.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you, ABP Desam. A big hi to all the students of KL. KL students are in this room or not? If they are there, they should raise a volume of voice. I like it. Are you there? Okay, stay there. The spirit of entrepreneurship is something which cannot be taught alone in a mode of a classroom. But I think it is like good parents, they actually grow their children in a good manner, not by telling them that you have to be good every day. People don't learn just because we tell them. People learn because they watch us doing something good. For example, in a home scenario, you're talking to your kids in one way about the rights and the wrongs and the do's and the don'ts. But yourself, if you're not practicing those things, like you shout at the driver, you shout at the maid, it is okay for you to cheat someone, it's okay for you to promise 20 rupees and pay 10. When you shortchange a lot of these things, the kids are observing you and they are going to pick up exactly the same thing. So, they are not going to be good children just because you want them to be good children or you tell them to be good children. It is more because they observe you and they imbibe those characteristics. Similarly, in an institution, whether it is private or public, they actually look around the teachers, look around the management, how they are conducting themselves. If you are totally away from the characteristic features of an entrepreneur, then the institution shall have no right whatsoever to expect its kids, its students to become entrepreneurs. What are we demonstrating? For example, you pay 1 lakh rupees salary to your faculty members and ask them to draw 50,000 cash and give it back to you? That is no. You commit a timetable in the college and you don't stick to that. The students are seeing through everything. Is somebody who makes a promise but does not stand by. It's a no. You don't make any changes in your processes, in your products, in the way you conduct yourself, then there is no innovation at all. For example, what kind of difficult problems you're solving? For example, it's raining here.
Right.
Assume that it's raining here and a lot of water is clogged around this and it can be seen. If everybody looks at that and walks away, then there is no entrepreneurial mind there. Someone like some of the students of KL in that corner would walk here and say, sir, I think we need to make a hole here so that the water finds a vent and it goes away and the whole roof doesn't fall on you. So when you look around and try to solve a problem, change a particular process and walk in step with the changing needs of the business and the times, then I think you are an entrepreneur. All this is being absorbed by the students. So you demonstrate and then create an entrepreneurial environment and then the students will follow. That is the first and the most important step. And there is no better teaching than demonstrating.
Right.
I'll give you one more example. After this, you can ask me the second question.
Oh, sure.
There is a great difference between Vidya and Siksha. Siksha is about, acquiring knowledge, all the methodologies that are there in the world to bring that knowledge to the classroom and impart it to the students, huge methodology to test that, so on and so forth. But Vidya is about what do you do with the knowledge that is acquired? What is the broader understanding of this knowledge? It's about wisdom. It's about the way of living life. Similarly, we need to tell the students that we are involved in creating Vidya and not merely Siksha. Because we get bogged down by Siksha, completing our curriculum as per the schedule, conducting the examination, so on and so forth. But we hardly try and address the most important thing, that is Vidya. That is what actually makes you a good citizen, a responsible social person, and a responsible teacher, a responsible father, a responsible husband and a wife, so on and so forth. That's where the big
Right.
take home is there for you.
So, you know, we have seen that the process of learning, the methodology changes after every 5 years. We have seen a rapid transition. So, you know, what is the best thing that you endorse about smart education? What is actually making our students? India is the most youthful nation in the entire world. So, what is the best thing about smart education?
See, smart education is not just about the touch screens and the digital paraphernalia that you bring. It's about how do you solve the problems by using that knowledge or the methodologies and the tools and techniques that are available to you. When you look around, you should be having a mindset of problem identification. We come from various towns.
Right.
The large part of this India lives in towns and not in big cities like this. The bigger nation is lying out there. In all our respective places, when we go to colleges and schools, and when we go home in our society, in our gullies and streets, if we look around the problems that the older women are facing with respect to using the governmental services, or they are facing problems with respect to using health services, or they are having problems with respect to even handling a mobile phone where the software is not appropriate. The kind of OTP that is sent to you when you
Right.
do online, people who are around 30, 35 years cannot do it appropriately in the right time.
Right.
How can you expect a 65-year-old person to do it?
Right.
Where is the empathy? So if you identify some problems like that, your business can be much more empathetic. You can involve a large number of people using your services. Local problems can be looked at and identified, and that's where we have to begin. So smart education or smart learning is about what you do with the tools rather than the display of technology in itself in silos.
So coming back to the topic from campus to entrepreneurship, you know, when we look all around the world, we have Indian executives or probably Indian nationals or Indian-born executives ruling MNCs all across the globe. So do you think that, yes, we are teaching them right? We are teaching them at the right age? Or are we making them begin at a very early age? Entrepreneurship. Like, do we have that curriculum that, yes, we are teaching them how to become a leader for tomorrow, and not just for India, for the entire world?
I don't think we are teaching anyone to become an entrepreneur at an early stage in the scheme of things. Not at all. A few corporates headed by Indians, a lot of Indians doing very well outside India is a very good statement. But the huge, large chunk of India that is lying with us here has to be taught. It's not, the story doesn't lie in outliers. For example, IIMs get a salary of 1 crore to start with. It's an outlier case. Not everyone in IIMs get that kind of salary. IITs get 2 crores of salary. No, that's not true. If a story is completely driven or misjudged by the examples of outliers, that's not education. I think what is going to be true for 80% of the people and what they have to pick up and learn, how do we prepare them pretty early in the game for entrepreneurship is important. It has to start in the school. A lot of colleges, business schools, engineering colleges, so on and so forth, they have e-cells,
Right.
entrepreneurship cells. That's not enough. It's like you can have your mobile phone with you, but you don't use majority of the tools. Just for the sake of getting a few points in your ranking, you can probably afford to have an e-cell.
Right.
But what do you do with the e-cell? How many problem statements have you generated, and what did we do with those problem statements? What is the strong connect that we have provided for these grown-up kids with the matured industry that's
Right.
available out there? I think that foray into problem solving and bringing the veterans into the game, the young ones also into the game, but who have actually walked the talk, we need to bring them and involve them in this.
Right.
So, is our curriculum developing the leaders? No. That the answer is very no. Should they do? Yes, they should do. How do they do it? There are many methods to do it. I don't think that's the question.
Okay, so when we talk about curriculum, even the government of India has changed the curriculum. We do have a new education policy coming into place. So we have a lot of skill-based training, skill-based learning now. It's not just about entrepreneurship. We also have to make our youth, make our people employable, make them job ready for the future. What are the key skill sets that every individual must have and should have?
The mindset of solving a problem, for example, you look at a washing machine which is front loaded and top loaded, and how do you actually reduce the consumption of power? As our friend has solved a big round of applause to him. That was a fantastic problem solving. We need to talk more about these things. That should be the curriculum.
Okay.
How people solve problems, how they saved money, how they saved energy, how they made lives better, how they made society better, how politicians have innovated and made the lives of citizenry much, much better. There are lots of politicians.
Right.
You need to identify that with a very neutral mind, pick up those things and bring it into your classroom. So problem, solution. I think that is the methodology with which we have to teach. Then things will work out absolutely well for us. In my view, there are hardly any institutions across the country which focus exclusively on this.
Right.
Somehow, we seem to be having a head burdened by the syllabus completion.
Old age rulers,
Yeah, old age.
wars, other things.
Exactly.
But nobody talks about how this or that entrepreneur has achieved this, how the space mission has been completed, what our scientists did, how do you do this, how do you do that. Basically, everything that you need to do in your everyday chores, right?
I have known a college within Hyderabad, which is not our own college, some other college. They approached me and they talked to me about their entrepreneurship cell. And I asked them, what do you do as part of your entrepreneurship cell? They asked me for an advice. You know, when I asked right questions, they came back with 45 problems solved. Small problems. Like how to do a water heating with the safety of not getting electrocuted.
Oh, that's very nice. That's very smart.
So mass problems, common man's problems are solved. Then I said, you are setting your tone and path for building a very good entrepreneurship in your college. But that doesn't see the limelight because you should also know how to promote that. You should also know how to write a story around that. First of all, do it on the ground, which they have done, but they have not done the story. So storytelling is extremely important so that our students get captivated. That's what when I gave the example. So the skill of storytelling is also an important skill for teachers and the facilitators to innovate and motivate our youngsters to follow the path of entrepreneurship. One word about NEP. NEP is a great document.
Right.
The insistence on skills is very much true. There is a school which I know here in Hyderabad. I'll give examples of Hyderabad. It's called Boys Town.
Okay.
And there's a difference between a normal ITI and Boys Town ITI. There, they solved so many problems, built skills into the students, made students create lots of products, for example, tables and benches and chairs. Even that's a very respectful according to me. And they also told them how to sell this to the general market.
Okay.
One is you pick up the skill, productize it, and commercialize it.
Right.
Take it to the market. So that example I can give you. Before NEP, this has been done. But NEP fosters this kind of thought. Skill is extremely important. Skill-based learning, as many speakers have mentioned, is extremely important. And today, you'll be valued for skills. We at ICFI, in various locations across the country, we are present in 20 cities in this country. In our ICFI University, Tripura, we have courses like radiotherapy. We have courses like nursing. We have courses like physiotherapy.
Oh, that's very nice.
These are skill-based courses.
Right.
Apart from, where we have in Northeast, like in Sikkim, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, we have hotel management, hospitality management, tourism management. All these are skill-based programs that attract employment, and all the students year after year, they are churned into the marketplace and they are building their careers in the field of tourism, hospitality, hotel management,
And all
so on
other
and so
sectors
forth.
as well.
So what is given in NEP is not enough. How do you translate that and put into the curriculum?
And how do you execute it also matters.
Exactly. Think about the students.
Right.
If your approach is student first, everything else will fall in line.
Right. So, when we talk about smart education still, sounds like a very fancy word. It's still not accessible to all. It has to become more affordable to make it more accessible. So, how do we work on that?
First of all, don't use jargons.
Okay.
The problem is, even I don't understand what is smart education. I'm being very, very honest with you. And I have been taught in my school that we should be against jargon. Jargons take away the heart of our message. We should not use jargons. In this communication, I could have used lots of jargons. For example, we are exposed to jargon, so we tend to pick up the jargon there and deliver here on the stage. You are in the forefront of smart technology, where a touch of the finger, you will be able to get into the multi-layered substacks that can be launched from your desktop at any point, anywhere in the world. What do you understand by this?
Too tough for
You
me
don't
to-
understand anything by this.
Yeah.
See, jargon is like that. In simple language, what you can say is, use your email and send series of mails to 40 students of KLU Hyderabad, and every week they will see and reply, and based on that, you send a higher level of a story or a different message to them. That's what I said in a different language. So, if you don't know your target group, and if you are not empathetic with them, what kind of business you are in? For example, this is my target group, and I speak in a manner that is a bouncer to all of them, then I am not empathetic. I am not the right kind of leader. So that has to go into the educators, that has to go into the system.
Right.
So translate what you have to do into a language that can be understood very easily, implemented very easily, and focus on storytelling. Do good work and tell the world that you have done good work. That's where our success lies.
So, when we talk about making our students job ready, making them employable, or making, training them to be an entrepreneur. So, are we also teaching them basics? Basic as, okay, how many of you, like I can see a lot of students in the audience, how many of you know how to save money? Can you please raise your hands? Anything about saving money? Anything?
No, you
any
raise your
XYZ.
hand. I will not ask any question. Raise your hand.
We are not asking any question. Like, this is a very basic thing. How many of you
Of course
actually
they know how to save money. Of course you know, right? Of course you know.
Okay. How many of you know how to write a CV, write your own CV when you seek a job, when you go to the market? How many of you know how to market yourself in the social media? Like everybody now, that is being an influencer. Still very less.
Excellent. I'll answer all those three.
Okay.
The way you market yourself on social media, students like you should be spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. I'm not asking you to get out of Snapchat. Don't get out of Insta. Don't get out of Facebook also. Be there and see what others are doing. But if you have to do something, be on LinkedIn, share your learnings, see how others are actually talking about what they are learning and what they are trying to contribute to the world. You can pick up a conversation there, do good networking that will hold you in good stead as you move forward and launch yourself into the corporate world. Second thing, how do you save your money?
I mean, anything about money, anything about saving
Life
money.
skills.
Yes.
This is about life skills,
Yes,
right?
you can say
In
that.
real life, do you manage money at home or you are at the wrong end of spending money? Obviously, parents give you money, but then have you any time given back some money to your parents saying that, this is the money that I saved, and you earn reward points so that they give you more money? You should do that. You should do that. And you should always ask for it. A crying child will be paid to, in the sense the attention will go to the crying child. You should ask for all the time. Don't cry, but ask for it. When you ask for it, they'll give you responsibilities. They should trust you with money. If a parent doesn't trust a child with money,
Right.
supposing I'm an institution, if I don't recruit my own students in my own institution, just in case is required, how will anybody trust my student? If the
Correct.
student is good enough, I should be the first one to recruit that student, right?
Right.
If the student cannot be recruited in my institution, I have no moral right or authority to put the student up for placement for other corporates to pick up. So it starts at home. The parent should invest in you, parents should trust you, parents should send you to the college, and you should also earn your trust by giving a few rupees of money back sometimes.
I would also say you must also invest in yourself. Read more. Learn from examples. There are multiple things. Public speaking, there are 10,000 things that actually will make you more employable and will help you become an entrepreneur in future.
How many teachers of KLU are here?
I
At
can see
least
one hand.
teachers should raise hand. Stand up, sir. I am proud to be a faculty at KL. Like that, you should stand. Very good. Thank you so much. Sit down. I want to see on LinkedIn at the end of this session, large number of KL students putting a summary of my session. I don't care about other sessions. I have to be selfish. You just do a summary of my session and then tag me. I look exactly like this on my LinkedIn, and my name is also exactly what is written there. So I'll see how much you have actually grasped and how much you are going to put it to use and how you're going to continue to stay in touch with me over the next few years. And it will be great to see you people growing into your careers from your college. Will you do?
Also, don't forget to tag ABP Network as well.
Okay, entrepreneurship is, yeah. Entrepreneurship, I'll give you some headlines. Entrepreneurship is taking risk and taking ownership, whether you work for yourself or work for someone else. That's the first one. Second one is, entrepreneurship is like putting the steel into the spine of the society. That is, a society will become very strong with bold, courageous people solving problems of the nation and the people together. They'll make country a better place to live in. So it's like entrepreneurship is like putting steel into the spine of the society. So this is the second headline. And the third one is, KL students are great.
I hope they are writing it down. Do we have any question from the audience? Do we? I can see one hand right at the back on the left hand
Anna, వీళ్ళు
side.
అడగకపోతే నేనే అడుగుతా.
అందుకే నేను అడుగుతున్నా సార్.
I welcome all the Bengalis to Telangana. My elder brother, Dr. Shravan, is here. Dr. Shravan and I went to the same school, but at different times of span. He was my elder brother's classmate in St. Alphonsus High School, Nalgonda. He is one of the greatest products of that school, apart from me. And my brother. Anna is the Honorable MLC of State of Telangana. We are extremely happy to see you, Anna, rising in your career in politics. You are an admirable personality. I have always loved your knowledge acquisition, and the power of delivery. During the formation of Telangana state, in those debates, you used to cut everyone to size. I really admired that. You know, the power of argument is extremely important. Someone has to learn from you by browsing the old videos where you had been a firebrand on all TV studios. Hopefully today it's going to be much better. There is no war.
Right.
Right, sir. Good afternoon. Yes. My name is Satya Pamula, sir. Good afternoon.
Satya, welcome.
Yeah, hi, welcome, sir. So basically, I have gone through it, very interesting insights and debate, but on a very practical note, how are we going to change the cultural aspects? Because any family will look after for the return of investment. Because if I send my daughter to US, which I have recently sent, I'll be spending close to 1.5 crores in any of the B schools. So you'll be spending something like 40-50 lakhs. So the immediate thing is the parents and the students will look for a job and not for entrepreneurship. So because what I feel is, and if you see globally also, 9 out of 10 startups will fail. So who would like to take those risks, and can a middle class Indian culturally ingrained guy or the low level guy how the government and the B schools, which they never did till now, because even I'm a product from one of the B schools, how did they motivate? And even if they do some job, then we have the likes of Piyush Goyal, who comes and says, enough of this Zomato and Swiggy kind of entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thank you, Satya. That's a wonderful set of 3 questions into one. The first one is job versus entrepreneurship, corporate career versus entrepreneurship, middle class concerns, ROI concerns. In my view, increasingly the parents will have to have an entrepreneurial mindset. It begins there. If you invest in anything about 1.5 crores, you will always be burdened by the return on that investment, obviously. But more than entrepreneurship or more than return on investment, where it begins is you will have to worry about the entrepreneurial mindset. Whether you work for yourself or work for someone else, are we taking the risk? Are we taking the ownership? Are we making bold steps and solving problems? This is very, very important for us. Right from young age, if we have been protected, no, don't cycle too fast. Don't ride a bike so often on the streets. It is risky. If you want to soft cushion and deal everything with velvet gloves, you are preparing a different kind of mindset. Now, when it comes to education, the cost of it and the return of the education, a large part of middle class in India is still going by what you said. I agree with you. But slowly it is changing. The failure rate, 90% of startups fail. The mere statistics should not deter us. We need to go into understand the details of why 90% of the startups are failing. They are not failing because merely the path that they have chosen. They are failing because they have not pursued the path, whatever they have chosen, in an appropriate manner. For example, I have statistics and I have seen that out of the 90% that have failed, a large majority of them fail because their team is not appropriate. Their team, the founder's team is not appropriate. The founder's team is not open to listening to some suggestions from any mentor. They don't want a mentor. There is a generational divide. There is a mentor who is, say, about 40, 50 years old. There is an entrepreneur who is about 20 years old. They are not doing that. And the most important aspect why they are failing is their problem that they are addressing, the problem that they would like to solve, has not been chiseled out appropriately. The value proposition has not been stated appropriately, not conveyed appropriately, therefore they fail. I would not say the path that they have taken itself is wrong. The intensity with which they approached in that given path is not appropriate, therefore they fail. So we need to turn it on its head and look at it, dissect it, and take lessons for us, and then go and approach it appropriately. Have your mentors, have seniors looking at it, have an open mind. Again, if you are a closed mind, you are not an entrepreneurial material. Whether it is a 20-year-old kid or a 60-year-old man, if you don't have an open mind, you are not good for entrepreneurship. You don't take such suggestions. You can't take bets. You can't pick up non-conventional methodologies. Then you will fail. So the story is written much before you began. A lot of people are entering into entrepreneurship for wrong reasons as well.
Right.
That is also an important concern. We need to correct all that, and this crucible of entrepreneurship has to be dealt with appropriately by government, by agencies. Our T-Hub is a great facilitator, and of course it has to do a lot of work and a long way to go, but it has come up in the last 10 years as a great facilitator, as an aggregator of the thought of entrepreneurship and innovation in the state of Telangana. We should be very happy for that. And many more states, why many more states? There is always a abdication of responsibility when we put it on governments. I think the colleges, they will have to epitomize entrepreneurship. As I said in the beginning, the founders of the colleges, they have to behave like entrepreneurs. They have to demonstrate entrepreneurship. They have to, by every measure, stand up as a role model. How many teachers in colleges are on social media and they're trying to give some kind of a benchmark or a good practice to their students? No, they ran away from social media. Therefore, social media is going to people, good. Social media is going only to those people who have the time and they can divert the attention of the students in the wrong way. But the responsible teachers will always stay there.
Right. And entrepreneurship also comes, risk comes with rewards. So there is no reward without the risk. So anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur or become more employable, you need to also have patience.
You need to have patience.
Yes.
Loads of patience.
Right.
They are the only people who have patience.
Yes.
You and I do not have.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for being here. Thank you so much. And what a brilliant answer to such a smart question. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, those brilliant students who have patiently looked at me and listened to me. And thank you,
We
ABP
look
Desam.
forward to all those social media posts you're going to do.
Yes, I will try.
Don't forget to tag ABP Network as
If
well.
you don't do a summary, I will post it on the KL page that none of you have actually given any summary. వదిలేదు లేదు.
Thank you so much, sir, for this thought-provoking session on actually creating or imbibing a personal brand for oneself. May I now invite on stage Miss Vidya, Regional Sales Head Digital South ABP Network, to thank Shri Sudhakar Rao Garu for his time and his presence today.